Today is Monday, May 2nd, and today was a little bit different from the last few Mondays now that we're pretty close to the meet, 3 weeks out now, or I guess a little bit less than 3 weeks out. And so we're pivoting more towards competition-specific movements, obviously, so got rid of the power snatch plus hang snatch complex, replaced it with just snatch singles, and then snatch high pulls are now snatch pulls, so the difference there being like whether I pull with my arms or not. With the high pulls I do, with the pulls I don't. With the regular pulls it's just a shrug. And then the push press plus overhead squat used to be 3 push presses plus 1 overhead squat, but now it's just 1 plus 1. And then the regular accessories of pull-ups and core. With the snatch, starting with the snatch. Or I guess to preface or before, I talk about any of the actual like lifting stuff on Monday, I ended up not being able to lift on Saturday when I normally do like the extra snatch pull work. And I don't know to what degree that had an effect on today, because today was not a particularly great day, like nothing to write home about. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great, I guess. Especially these warm-ups felt a little weird. I wasn't really feeling like I had been, or I have been for the past 3 weeks, where everything's just felt very crisp. And I think like maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to rationalize. And that plus I think I don't think I did get very little sleep today. So maybe, some combination of factors or whatever just made today not a great session in terms of like my physical state and maybe just like my mind state as well. Like I wasn't really in the zone or anything like that. See that when I move quite a bit backwards, and so I catch it forward, and so it's just like it feels weird, and I'm like, oh, all of these warm-ups feel kind of weird. 80 was pretty solid. And then starting with 85, I believe, is when so the catch is pretty shaky. Like it's not very solid. And I also similar issue of like the lateral movement. I end up fixing it somewhat halfway through, but it is quite annoying to deal with at first. And so, did I word that right? I'm not sure. But in any case, so that's my first set. Wasn't super happy with how I caught that. And then this was probably my most solid one in terms of just like stability and like least amount of iffiness in the catch. And I think one cue that I kind of realized after I finished all of these that would have helped me is to think about the cue of pushing up with my shoulders. And that was a cue that, all of these are kind of just like weird and shaky and not the most stable. And then I actually make all 4 of this first sets, which is kind of cool. And then this one, I feel like I definitely could have saved, but I just kind of gave up on it. But then I just tried again and then I make it, so pretty consistent in terms of makes, honestly. I think like timing of the pushing up is something that I need. It is like I've had reps where I can get it down pretty well. It's just not 100% consistent yet. Like I'm not able to get that timing down for every single rep or set or whatever, or rep. So that is just something that I need to like be able to like identify when I do right and then try to replicate in other reps. But so push up with my shoulders is a cue that I think would have helped a lot, and one that I jotted down for my next snatch session, because that was a cue that Aaron told me the day of my most recent meet, or my first meet, I guess. And that helped a lot, I think, with just like the stability of catching. And it's not necessarily even like I'm shrugging up with my shoulders more than it is just a conscious, like that cue making me give a concerted effort towards stability with my scapulas versus just my arms. And so I think that cue will be important and like will, I think, help sort of fix that problem. And then with the lateral movement stuff, the front and back stuff, I think I just focused on like making sure I'm setting up properly off of the ground, because I think I was starting a little bit behind the bar on some of those reps where I like traveled backwards quite far. So just being conscious about that, and then active upper body. And I think those things helped make things better like halfway through, I think. Yeah, halfway through the sets. I don't remember at what point it started getting better, like at what set or whatever, even at what warm-up. Actually, no. It was probably at some point during the sets, because I think there were some sets where, I don't know. Yeah, those things did help and probably will continue to help, so I'll keep thinking about those. And then after that, obviously, I did the snatch pulls, which I just fully talked over. The snatch pulls were fine. Like, were not anything particularly difficult. Just thinking about the same things of, like, pushing through my midfoot, making sure I, have my whole foot on the ground for as long as possible until the point of extension, all those things. And I'm capable of doing them. I did them pretty well in the pulls. It's just a matter of making sure I'm transferring that over into the snatch properly. And then moved on to push press plus overhead squat. I worked up to 108, which is actually a PR on my overhead squat. The most I've ever done for an overhead squat is 235, I believe. So, pretty cool. Haven't PR'd in a while, so felt pretty good. And then did some pull-ups and core, and then called it a day.